Hello there. My name is Fola Daniel also known as Fola Daniel Speaks. Today, I want to ask you to constantly set goals. You need to constantly set goals. One of the things you need to see is the fact that there will always be a new terrain to conquer. There will always be new goals to be achieved. There will always be new opportunities for you to leverage. If there are always new terrains, new opportunities to leverage, then you need to set goals. If you don't set goals, how do you track your progress? One major reason we set goals is to be able to track our progress. It is with a goal that you can tell, okay, I was here last year and this is where I am today. Take, for example, if you don't measure the growth of your child, how do you know that your child is growing? If a woman becomes pregnant and the woman goes to the hospital, one of the things the doctors will check is the consistent growth of the fetus. When they check the consistent growth of the fetus, if the fetus is growing, then the doctors will tell you you have nothing to worry about. If at any point in time the doctors cannot see any sign of growth, then there's cause for alarm and they're going to be worried. And they also tell you, if we monitor in the next few weeks and there is no sign of growth or heartbeat, then we have to do something very, very quickly. So why do they monitor the growth or track the progress of that baby? The reason they track the growth progress of that baby is because that growth or that progress is what tells them that the baby is okay, the baby is healthy and alive. So in the same vein, sometimes it is your goals that tell us you are healthy, you are alive. You need to set your health goals. You need to set your financial goals. You need to set your goals in terms of maybe activities that you're going to have around. It could be social activities if you're more elderly. It could also be professional goals if you're still young and still trying to build a career. You have to constantly set goals. Why do we set goals at the beginning of every year? Now, I am not saying that you can only set goals at the beginning of every year. You can set goals anytime, any day, any moment. Whenever an idea comes to your mind, you can set goal for the idea immediately. But if you do not set goals, something is wrong somewhere. The goals that you're setting are the proofs that you still have some form of ambition in you. And anyone without an ambition is going nowhere. Anyone without an ambition will not grow. So you need to constantly set goals. What will goals do for you? Goals will challenge your capacity. Goals will challenge your mental ability. When you think you have achieved something, if you set a new goal for yourself and you begin to work towards it, you realize that the major thing that goal will do for you is to challenge either your physical capacity or your mental capacity. Take, for example, if it's a fitness goal that you set for yourself, maybe you decide to shed some weight. That will challenge your capacity, to challenge your body. But if you also decide that I'm going to get an extra degree, maybe an extra master's degree, or I'm going to get a PhD, no matter how many degrees you have had previously, the moment you go back to school, the new challenge will challenge you in a different way. Every degree, even though they can be in the same class, for example, you can say, oh, it's just another master's degree, but by the time you get into a new program, you're going to realize that despite the fact that you had a master's degree before, it's going to challenge you differently, particularly if you're taking the degree in a different university. Sometimes when you're taking these degrees in the same university, you will still be challenged. So you need to understand that goals will challenge you. If you set financial goals will also open up your mind. It will challenge your mental capacity. Take, for example, if you set a goal to make 100,000 and you hit that goal of making 100,000, you would have learned certain things. At first, it may look impossible, but the moment you hit that goal, then you realize it's possible. You believe in yourself. Then you set the goal. Okay, I'm going to do 200,000. The moment you set the goal to do 200,000, it will challenge you. And you start asking questions. What did I do right in the first place to get 100,000? Is there something I can double up on, or is there something I can do differently to move from that 100,000 to 200,000? But more importantly, with financial goals, If you don't track your progress, you wouldn't even know where you are. So if you don't track your progress to know where you are, how are you going to know where you should be going? So you need to first of all set goals to track where you are or where you're coming from. Then you set goals to determine where you should be going to. Goals will help you determine where you're coming from. Goals will also help you determine where next you should be going. But more importantly, I have said that goals will challenge your mental capacity. Goals will challenge your physical capacity. There is no goal that you set and achieve that leaves you the same way. Once you set a goal that seemed impossible and you are able to achieve it, at the end of that goal, you become a better person. For example, at the end of an academic goal, you now become a graduate. You now become a master's degree holder, or you become a PhD holder, and sometimes some people start calling you a doctor. If you go into the academic field, you become a professor. So a goal leaves you as a better person, which is why you must constantly set goals. Goals don't leave you the way they met you before you set them. Every new goal that you set will leave you with wisdom and increased capacity. If you read a book, for example, let's say you set a goal to read 10 books. By the time you finish reading the first one, you have acquired more wisdom. Then you read the second one, you have acquired more wisdom. You read the third one, you have acquired more wisdom. By the time you finish reading the 10th one, you would have acquired more wisdom too. So that kind of goal leaves you wiser. Whatever it is that you're doing, take for example, for me as an author, when I first started doing books, I was doing one book at a time. But now I've gotten to a place where I can push out 2, 3, 4, 5 books at a go. Now, how did I get to that point? It started with setting goals to write one article per day. The first year, when I decided that I was going to write an article every day of the year, it seemed like it was an impossible task. I said to myself, what have I gotten myself into? But I started out and I was writing on a daily basis. Sometimes my biggest problem was getting the topic to write about. But eventually I overcame it. At the time, I had every reason to even say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't write my article today. My laptop is not working. For whatever reason, I can't get to my system. Those were also the days of Blackberries, the Blackberry mobile devices that had keypad. But you know what I did? I typed some of my articles on the BlackBerry keypad. It was not initially convenient, but over time something happened to me. It became easier to type on the BlackBerry device, and I mastered how to write an article just using my BlackBerry device. So eventually at the end of the year, I was able to successfully write 365 articles, writing one article per day. And that's how I got to the point of being able to do 2 books, 3 books, 4 books, or even publishing 5 books at once. Why? I started by writing on a daily basis. 500 words, 750 words, 1000 words, and it has become easier today. So when you set goals consistently at whatever you do, they become easier for you. So you want to multiply your impact, set goals. You want to scale as a business person, set goals. You want to become a better person, consistently set goals, because goals don't leave you the same as you were when you first set the goals. They make you better, they make you wiser, they increase your mental and physical capacity. So I'm hoping that I've been able to convince you to constantly set goals. Thank you for listening. Please head on out to www.youtube.com/Fola Daniel Speaks.